Alright, welcome back everyone for another video. So I am actually doing my Bible study videos today. I usually do them on Fridays, but I did my HelloFresh video yesterday, which I did not get to upload yesterday. I'm uploading that today because my computer decided to be very stupid with me. I don't know why, it just did. But yes, so I'm uploading the HelloFresh unboxing video today. I did not do a HelloFresh meal last night because of two reasons. My old man didn't get home until 10 o'clock, and I had a pounding headache yesterday, so I was asleep way before he even got home. Now, I know it's not because of the water that I had a pounding headache. Yesterday, I can tell you right now, I did not meet the 1 gallon challenge part because I drank one full container of this, and then like I said, for some reason my head was hurting so bad that I didn't want TV on. I didn't want to do anything. My head was it was this half of my head too. So all I wanted to do was just go to sleep. So I turned the TV off and I went to sleep for a couple hours before my old man got home. Then he got home and he was exhausted, and we didn't want to cook anything, so we just went to bed. Now I'm pretty sure the reason why my head was hurting was because I only got like 2, maybe 3 hours of sleep yesterday before being up for the entire day. I worked the night before. I got up at 6 a.m. and I slept until like maybe 10 at the most, and then was up for the rest of the day. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I had such the bad headache, is because I did not get a whole lot of sleep. But I was drinking a lot, so I can't blame it on the water. So I am doing pretty good with the challenge so far. But outside of that, like I said, before that, I did my Bible studies 2 weeks ago. So I am a week behind on my Bible studies. Now I will tell you right now, I am considering moving the date from when I'm going to upload my my Bible study videos for one specific reason. I have my HelloFresh unboxing videos coming up on Fridays. That's when I get my HelloFresh boxes. So I'm thinking about changing my keeping my HelloFresh box unboxings on Fridays, because that's when I get my box at that, and then changing my Bible study days, maybe to a Monday or Tuesday, someday when it's not a HelloFresh box, because I don't know how to change the delivery date for my HelloFresh box. So it's always going to come in on a Friday. And I don't want to do a HelloFresh box and then 2 Bible study videos back to back. Okay, that just can be too much videos in one day. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it today because I already did the HelloFresh video yesterday, and I'm doing my Bible study videos today, and that would make 3. So I'm thinking about doing. I'm gonna look at my my algorithm, and I'm gonna see if I can do it maybe Monday or Tuesday, along with the shorts I'm doing. So I need to balance it out because I still want to do shorts, and I know I haven't done a couple shorts in a while, but it's because it's just been so hot. I just been not wanting to do anything. I just been kind of staying in here with the AC on and just trying to stay cool. So anyways, Genesis 12 and John 12 is what I'm doing today. So why don't we just go ahead and dive right into Genesis 12 and go from there. As you guys know, in my last video I did Genesis 11, and let's see, rough update of what Genesis 11 was. So Genesis 11 was the Tower of Babel, where God came down and he confused all the people and he separated them and made different languages. Then it goes into Shem's descendants, which Shem's descendants will lead into the Messianic line that is recorded in Luke 3. And then it goes into Terah's descendants, and how Terah took his son and Lot, and all his family to the land of Ur. Or he took his people from the land of Ur to the land of Canaan. Okay, so that's kind of where we ended off at. So now we're doing the call of Abraham. So let's go ahead and get. Yes, so let's go ahead and get into that, and then I have a reflection that I'm going to read for you guys. So yes, okay, let's go ahead and get into that, and we'll continue. All right, so it says, Now the Lord said to Abraham, Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land that I will show you, and I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you and your name and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse, and in all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So Abraham went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. And Abraham took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all the possessions that they had gathered, and all the people that they had acquired in Haran, and they set out to the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abraham passed through the land to the place of Shechem, to the oak of Moreh. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abraham and said, to your offspring I will give this land. So he built an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he moved to the hill country of the east of Babel and pitched his tent, with Babel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abraham journeyed, still going toward the Negev. I cannot talk today. Oh my gosh. Now it goes into Sarah and Abraham and Sarah in Egypt. I keep wanting to call him Abraham because eventually Abraham's name does get changed to Abraham's name gets changed to Abraham. So I keep wanting to call him Abraham, but he's not Abraham yet. Now there was a famine in the land, so Abraham went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was severe in the land. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to Sarai his wife, I know that you are a beautiful woman in appearance, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, This is his wife. Then they will kill me, but they will let you live. Say you are my sister, that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared for your sake. When Abraham entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. And when the prince of Pharaoh saw her, they praised her to Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And for her sake he dealt well with Abram. And he had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male servants, female donkeys, and camels. But the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh called Abram and said, What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say, She is my sister, so that I took her for my wife? Now then, here is your wife, take her and go. And Pharaoh gave men orders concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. And that is chapter 12. It's pretty straightforward, okay? So let's go into the reflection of what's called the Call of Abraham. It is going from Genesis 12, 1-9. Not the whole entire chapter, but just the part, the Call of Abraham. And this is by Mike Bullmore. Abraham, later called Abraham, is the exemplary man of faith. The Apostle Paul makes much of this in Romans 4 and Galatians 3. Even speaking of Abraham as the father of all who have faith in Jesus Christ, Abraham is also featured as the leading member in the great hall of fame of faith, in Hebrews 8 through 19. Without question, Abraham emerges in the New Testament as the model of faith for us, and it all gets started here in Genesis 12. So what are the words God speaks to Abraham in this passage that beget such a powerful trajectory of faith? God begins by directing Abraham to leave his country, kindred, and family home. This represents everything in which Abraham would have found security, comfort, enjoyment, everything he held dear. By anyone's measure, this was going to mean a monumental and comprehensive change in his life. But it is in what God said next that the great significance is found. And I will make you a great nation, and I'll bless you and make your name great so that you will be a blessing. And that one, if you don't remember the chapter itself, but that one was in verse 2. See here that God's intention to make Abraham a great nation is not an end in itself. It is so that blessing might be poured out, and not just in some local or even national way. Through Abraham, God intended to bring blessing to all the families on the earth. This comprehensive change in the life of one man in God's grand plan to result in a much larger and comprehensive blessing. By the time we arrive at the New Testament, we are able to see clearly that line of blessing and where it leads. The Gospel of Matthew sets it forth for us in a simple but profound genealogy from Abraham to Jesus, and that can be found in Matthew 1 through 16. Verses 4 through 9 of Genesis 12. In fact, the next several chapters of Genesis recount for us Abraham's faith in action. It isn't always perfect, but is exemplary. God directed Abraham, go, and Abraham went. He trusts and he obeys, and he continues on in a journey marked by trusting obedience, regularly pausing to acknowledge his dependence on God. Is this not what God calls for from us? The Christian life is a walk of faith. Someday we will be able to set aside this inferior faith for glorious sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. But until then, faith-filled obedience is what God calls us to do, and Abraham gives us a picture of what that looks like. And the larger story tells us how God weaves our faith into the unfolding of his grand redemption plan. I cannot talk today. Oh my goodness. Alright. So, one thing. Okay, so there's that. There's the reflective part of that. I actually really like that. I've never read it before, and it's actually really, really nice. Okay. It actually makes a lot more sense, because the fact is that Abraham is the iconic, father of faith, is basically what it calls. Here, let me just get my notes real quick. So I wrote it down here. Okay, so yeah, so he also promises to bless him, and to the extent of blessing all the families of the earth. There we go. Abraham would become a giant of faith, even being the father of believing, which that I kind of found that in Galatians 3:7. But he did not start as a hero of faith. He is an example of growing faith and obedience. So he didn't start out as being completely faithful. He is growing into his faith, and that's what we're called to do. Okay, so for one thing I want to point out is that okay, so yeah, scratch that. Okay, anyways, so we're going to go ahead and go into this. Okay, so one thing that I want to point out is in the very beginning of chapter 12, God had told him, go from your country, your kindred, and your father's house. Okay, so basically he's telling him to go alone. So when he said that he had left with Lot and his entire family and all his possessions and everything, he literally just did not. He did what God told him to do, but he did not leave behind what he was told to leave behind, which is why later on down the road, Abraham and Lot get separated, and then in 14, he has to actually go save Lot because of the fact that he brought Lot with him when he wasn't supposed to. The other reason why is when they were in Egypt and Pharaoh took Sarai into his home as his wife, that was also another example of bringing his family with him. He wasn't supposed to. He was supposed to leave behind everything to go do that. Alright, much apologies. I had to go take care of my kids for a second. One perks to the camera is that I can actually stop it whenever I want to. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue where I was saying. The main thing I was wanting to point out is that how it says in verse 3, where it says, "I will bless those who bless you, and him who dishonors you I will curse you, and in all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So this goes into the whole. Let me just read over here directly. Okay. So he also promises to bless him, Abraham, to the extent of blessing all the families on the earth, and this promise fulfills in the Messiah that came from Abraham's lineage. God blessed Abraham, and not for his own sake or for the Jewish nation to come, but for the whole world through Jesus Christ. So, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this, chapter 11, the line of Shem will eventually lead to the Messianic line, which, like I said, it goes into Luke 3. This is all part of it. So this whole entire thing, the entire line, Joseph's line, Mary's line, all come back down from these people from the Genesis part here. Shem's line, like I said, leads to, I think, Mary's line, or I don't know which one Mary and Joseph comes from directly. I just know eventually they lead directly to Jesus' line, which, like I said, the whole entire point to this, the families of the earth shall be blessed. It's basically saying that eventually God's going to come back, or he's going to come back in the form of Jesus, and he's going to be blessing the entire earth. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I'm trying to word it correctly, and it's not exactly coming out the way I'd hoped. Anyways, so like I said, okay, so God had told him that he had to leave behind everything to go to wherever to the land that I would show you. And instead of doing that, he brought Lot, he brought his family and all his possessions with him, which is not what God told him to do. Then he promises, he says to God again, says, "To your offspring I will give you the land." So first off, he's basically already telling Abraham that he's going to have offspring of his own. He's going to have his own kids. So he built an altar for the Lord there as a kind of like a thank you. And then he moves again to the country on the east of Babel, and he stayed there and he made another altar, which one of these is the altar Jacob's well. So it says he stopped in the place of Shechem. I cannot say these names, I swear. So this is the place where Jacob came with his family from his sovereign, with Laban, or whatever his name is, brought a piece of land from Canaanite named Hamor for 100 pieces of silver, built an altar to the Lord, which became Jacob's well, and end up becoming something much more than that. I'm not exactly sure the whole story of that one. I just took down what I was told and given a little additional piece of information that I thought might be useful for you guys. So in Genesis 33, 18 through 20, you guys can read that story, which I have not gotten to that part yet. I'm working up to there. I'm just saying. This area is where Jacob's well is taking place, which is something I read in John. Just that. Okay. So he continues on and he goes into Egypt, which Egypt is at this point is having a severe famine. Okay, and that's the reason why he went into Egypt in the first place. And the first thought is that Sarah is a beautiful woman. The Pharaoh or the Egyptians, they're going to be like, oh, she's a beautiful woman, I'm going to take her for my wife. Oh, she has a husband, let's kill the husband. Okay, that's what he's afraid of. And instead of actually just outright telling the truth, saying, hey, she's my wife, he tells them a lie and says, hey, she's my sister. And then he's hoping that she have his life be given to him from that. So he says this, say, this is my wife, then they will kill me, but they will let you live. So say you are my sister, that it may go well with me because of you, and that my life may be spared for your sake. So at this point, he should have just told the truth. Okay. Now, this whole, I like this part specifically. Sorry. Because at this point, too, it kind of proves my point of telling the truth. So, he doesn't tell the truth. The pharaohs find her gorgeously beautiful. They take her in as wife. And then the Lord afflicted Pharaoh and his house with plagues because of Sarah. Because Pharaoh has someone else's wife in his house. Now, I'm not sure if they actually did anything. But he got plagued for it because of it. So, because of his lie, because he just didn't outright tell them the truth, someone else was affected because of his lies. So, my point to this thing is that our lies can also affect other people. So, not our lies do affect us, but they don't just affect us. They sometimes can affect other people, which is my kind of point to this thing here. So, Pharaoh gave him back his wife and flat out asked him, like, what is it you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? So that kind of implies to me already the fact that, hey, if you had just told me she was your wife, I wouldn't have done anything, and none of this would have happened. So he gave him back his wife, and Pharaoh gave his men orders concerning him, which I'm not exactly sure what those orders were, and they sent him away with his wife and everything that he had. So yeah, and how's that? I mean, okay, so one thing I want to point out real quick before I end this is so when Abraham lived in a tent, he continues into the south. Good gosh, he's 60 years old. I made some notes in here about certain things of the actual thing, and I did not realize she was 60 and already beautiful still. That's ridiculous. I mean, technically, what he said was kind of after Sarah was his half-sister. To me, that's not technically a full lie, but it still technically is a lie, too, because she was his wife. Anyways, so here's one thing I want to do. So Abraham was blessed with animals, female servants, everything, despite having lied. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh's house because of Sarah, and he rebuked Abraham, sending him and his wife and everything he had away. So, not only did Abraham get punished for being with or taking Sarah into his household as his wife, he also got Abraham in trouble too. So at least Abraham got sent out. That was his punishment. So last thing before I end this video. Faith is not a mushroom that grows overnight in a damp soil. It is an oak tree that grows for 1,000 years under the blast of wind and rain. So I pointed that out specifically because of the fact that Abraham's faith is growing. Okay, so it's not a mushroom. It is a tree. It takes a long time to sprout and actually grow and develop, and that is what I'm trying to point out with Abraham. So yes, he does have a lot of faith and everything, but it didn't start out this way. And this whole entire chapter is that entire point. When he went into Egypt, he didn't have enough faith already, because of the fact is that he tried lying and saying, hey, she's not my wife, she's my sister, don't kill me. Instead of outright just trusting God and saying, hey, yeah, she's my wife, and then trusting God to not have him killed because he told the truth. So as we progress through the Bible, you get to see just how much Abraham's faith goes from basically this to a whole lot. And that's kind of what chapter 12 here is really pointing out. So yeah. Alright. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you guys got all that, understood a little bit with all my gibberish, and kind of just me is yow, talk. See, I did it again. It's really hot out. Okay, it's really hot. So I'm like, I want my AC on, but I can't hear I can't record with the AC on. It makes too much noise. And my brain's frying right now. Alright. I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great one. Say hi.
Hi.
Alright. You guys have a good one. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.